Want to thank you all so much for your generous donations. We're so close to $1,000 for Random X. If you could get more donations in, let's take out Percy. We'll do 2 more giveaways live in chat. Stay tuned. We got Rhythm Heaven Fever with SuperViperT. You donated to make this happen. We got 4 extra games plus a night walk in Rhythm Heaven Fever. Stay tuned, get those donations in. Let's annihilate Percy. Come on. Don't you want to see what the next boss is?
I'm just vibing in my chair, pretending like I'm listening to the music.
Hello everybody, I am back this time with a completely different kind of game than before. This is Rhythm Heaven Fever, also known as Mina no Rhythm Tengoku, also known as, what is it, Beat the Beat Rhythm Paradise in Europe?
Beat the Beat Rhythm Paradise, that's the one I had.
Yeah, that's Laser Trap, aka John, who will be helping me out with commentary, since I am going to need to be focusing a lot on this game. So I'm running the all medals category, where we're going to be seeing all 50 of the main games, including all of the remixes and sequels. I need to get a superb ranking on all of them in order to get medals, so I don't necessarily have to play them perfectly, but I have to play them pretty well. So John will just be kind of helping me out, and we'll just go ahead and get started right about now. And right off the gate, I'm going to reset the game. Yeah, the run's already bad. I have to already reset. But basically, there's a gigantic tutorial section to start out the game. And if you reset as soon as the game saves, then you skip it. And we can just go straight into our first rhythm game, Hole in One. We will be seeing the rhythm test eventually, yeah. So you can go ahead and start talking about what this game is.
Of course. So Hole in One is, in my opinion, a really good choice to start this game off, because it's not like dead simple, but it's got two different rhythms where if you're inexperienced with music and all of that, you might try to rely on the visuals and get messed up. When really, if you listen to the audio cues, the difference between the small monkey and the big monkey, they're pretty much exactly the same. They're both going in 1, 2, go. Sorry if that messed you up, Viper.
We're good.
With that counting, but...
You were like right in sync with the music.
Oh, beautiful. I can't even hear the music, just for reference. So, this small monkey, he's so happy, and this whole game is so happy. It's kind of like a rhythm game that's targeted at everyone, but I like the comparison that's being drawn in chat. It's one that I kind of thought of myself too, similar to WarioWare games, like introducing a micro game or mini game aspect to it. And like Viper said, he'll be going for all the medals, which, you know, you don't have to be perfect, and anyone with some musical experience should be able to get those medals fairly, I won't say easily, but you'd have to concentrate to get them all in a row. There are 50 different games that he'll be playing, and we're just going to be vibing to this music, kind of partying on this island. That character named Yu is a really good golfer.
So, yeah, I just played that game perfectly. Like John said, pretty simple game to get us started out with. So, just kind of the general formula. There's 3 different ratings you can get per game. You can either get a superb, which means you played it very, very well. There's an okay rating, which still passes and lets you move on to the next game, but then you don't get a medal from that. And then if you do it horribly, then you get a try again. So we're obviously going to try to avoid those. And I'm just going to warn you, my recording setup does not like this next game, so you're not going to be seeing a whole lot of it, because it just kind of freezes up a bunch. For some reason, my recording setup does not like pure black and white, so you're going to have a hard time seeing much of anything here. But this game is...
It's one of the most bizarre... Yeah, sorry.
This game is basically you're just screwing heads onto robots. You'll be able to see what this game is like when we get to Remix 1. And there's 2 different types of robots.
So I can give a little bit of insight into what you're hopefully hearing still, which is that the regular gray robots, which we can't see but we can hear, they are... Oh, there we are. I see them now. They go, oh yeah. And then the little white robots that have like half of that, or I think it's not quite half, is it? It's a shorter rhythm. You just screw them on a little bit and they go, let's go. So that's what's happening, what you're hearing, and they're liking the song as much as I hope we all are.
Yeah, the gray robots are 2 beats, and the white robots are 1 beat.
Now, and that is a good point too. Like, you can play this game with just the sound. And Viper, I believe, will be doing Remix 10 blindfolded just to prove it.
Dang it, you spoiled it.
Did I?
Yeah, it's fine.
I thought that was your incentive, but no, the incentive
my
was something
incentive
else.
was the extra games and Nightwalk. So yeah, that game, I had one barely. So barely inputs are like, sort of like you kind of hit it, but you weren't quite in the right rhythm. And for the most part, those do count against your rating. And they also, you're also able to go for perfect campaigns on these games where you have to go through the entire thing without missing it. And barely's also ruin your perfect there. So here's Seesaw. This game is great.
Yeah, this is one that you can enjoy the visuals on as well. It's unfortunate that Screwbot Factory does that, but you can see as soon as it was over, the capture decides to work again. Now, as you may be able to see here, bouncing on the outer dark parts of the seesaw sends the characters into the air much higher than in the middle. And the game tries to mess you up a little bit by sometimes having the characters on different parts at the same time. And then these visuals are here to mess you up again if you're not paying attention to the audio, like going way high in the air like that. You think you're going to be suddenly in the air for longer for no reason, but nope, it's the same rhythm. I just really like how it tries to teach. Yeah, it does. It's speed changing the song too. So, like, you could get away with studying the visuals extra hard if you're not too confident in your rhythms, but the whole time the game is really trying to tell you, hey, just pay attention to the music, pay attention to the music, without ever really telling you straight up to pay attention to the music, as far as I can remember. But it's doing all of these little things to try to throw you off.
So I don't know what these characters are supposed to be. They're like weird bugs, sort of. And they're testing out this seesaw.
I know.
What I assume is a regular playground. But even so, that game is great. And yeah, to kind of go back to the whole idea of playing this game purely with sound, you can kind of do that for the most part, but there's some games where it's a little bit trickier, and you kind of have to rely. There is some level of memorization you have to rely on. So here's Double Date. This game is honestly pretty peaceful. You're kind of basically kicking away balls in order to not hit these weasels.
So this has another instance as well. Oh, sorry.
I believe this is the first game to use swing tempo.
Yeah, it has a little swing to it, and funnily enough, Double Date 2 removes the swing. What I did want to say, you've got the soccer balls, the basketballs, and the footballs that are all supposedly on different rhythms, but kind of like hole-in-one with the monkey and the mandrill. The soccer ball and the basketball are pretty much the same. The extra bounce from the basketball is just there to throw you off if you're not paying attention. Because the cue from when they first bounce and when you kick them for both soccer and basketballs is just one beat.
Yeah, footballs do have a different rhythm. And me talking there threw me off.
That's okay. I have to say that I have a hard time remembering to call the soccer ball sometimes because I did grow up in England. So they're footballs to me. Yeah, they do of course have some references in the background. I also like how they start throwing the offbeat rhythms in.
Alright, hopefully this game is a lot more lenient with superb ratings than the earlier games in the series, but hopefully that one miss doesn't mess me up. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, this game, there are 4 different games in the series, the first of which was were only released in Japan. Then you have a DS game, then you have this, and then Mega Mix, which was released for the 3DS. The DS game is incredibly strict with some of its ratings. And this is the first remix, which is basically all the games we've seen previously sort of combined.
Yeah, I like this first remix a lot better than the previous remix ones in the series, if that makes sense. Like on DS and GBA. Everyone's got that party vibe. Yeah. But this one's just a lot more interesting of a song, in my opinion. And also, you can finally see SuperViperT Factory. Tempo is very different to a lot of the games that, well, it's only a little bit faster than, say, Hole in One was, but Screwbots and Double Date, you can see, are really a lot faster than the songs that were used for their original games. During the run, because I want you all to be able to jam out to the remix songs, especially.
Yeah. So that was pretty perfect. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, so the remix songs are some of the best usually, and you know, I don't have too much to add that wasn't already said in their original games.
All right, time for Forklifter. This one's kind of bizarre. For some reason, the only way to get your food delivered to you here is for them to flick it at you from really far away.
They really come up with some interesting concepts to just make rhythms. Now, this is kind of the one that's the first game they throw in that is sort of about, here's a rhythm, repeat it back to me. And the really weird part to me is that the game after this is way more obviously about that, although you're having to remember a lot more. But still, I feel like these two games should maybe be swapped in order. There are some instances in Forklifter here when you actually have to make some decently fast presses as well. Like that triplet. I'm sorry, I'm looking a little bit farther behind, but
I was a little early there.
Yeah, so you can see that it gets stuck. Not quite in the right place.
That triplet is so annoying.
The triplet's really satisfying, though.
Okay, 3 barrelies. I hope that's okay. I actually don't know how strict most of these games are. Let's see. Oh, dang it. So I have to... You know what? Just for the sake of the marathon, should I just move on just for the sake of the marathon?
You could.
Yeah, I think we should just do it. That was good enough anyways.
I'm surprised that one was actually just okay. That's harsh.
Yeah.
Like, especially being such an early game, like, I feel like it just makes more sense to put Tambourine before that one, but you'll see that Tambourine is, you know, rather than Monkey See, Monkey Do, it's like you watch the monkey and then do what the monkey does. It's still monkey see, monkey do, but you know, a little bit of.
For some reason, this series literally likes monkeys.
It's true. They're a lot cuter in this game than they were on DS, though. Now, I don't think we mentioned yet that the different controls in this game, sometimes you're just tapping A, and then other times you are... I think it calls it pinching, like A and B together. So there's... with every input that he's making, it's always involving the A button, but your sort of alternate moves are usually A and B together. So in this case, just shaking the tambourine is with A, and hitting the drum is A and B.
Yeah, for some reason, despite being a Wii game, it basically never uses motion controls. Which honestly kind of surprises me, but I can understand why they didn't bother with that.
The touchscreen mechanic was a little bit rough to use sometimes on DS, so we can appreciate that.
Alright, this next game is amazing.
Yeah, this is a short one, but it's pretty funny, but it also has a really difficult ending because I believe if he misses the final input of the game, then he doesn't get the medal. Is that right?
See. I actually don't know.
Well, just don't miss it, Smile.
Yep. It's just 4 boars spinning around in chairs. Can't go wrong with that.
Nope. And they're trying to present a plan to, I don't know, the higher-ups of the business world. They're making really convincing sounds, it has to be said. And the thing that does make the last input when we get there tricky is that it's on such a particular offbeat that isn't used anywhere else. There's no training for it, but hopefully it won't be a problem.
Nailed it. Yeah, nice. I have yet to...
So you should be fine then.
Yeah, I have yet to not get a no-miss run of that game. Although it confused me at first because I used to think you also had to input to spin, but you only have to input to stop the chair. The boars spin on their own. And then here's everyone's...
I thought exactly the same. I feel like everyone has that.
And then here's everyone's favorite game.
So this is what people without musical experience, this is kind of where they stop playing. Because it says that the purple monkeys that you'll see are on the offbeats, but they're on like such a particular offbeat. It's like you could consider it like the 16th notes in betweens almost. But it says they're on the offbeats, meanwhile all of the yellow monkeys are the offbeats. You're not pressing on the beat of the music. I don't know if I explained that, especially... I don't know if I explained that well at all if you are not too familiar with rhythms and such. This is another game that seems kind of strangely early on. And it really is just a sudden rhythm check. Like, now we're zoomed out, and there's gonna be other things like monkeys outside of the watch trying to get in the way in their hot air balloons. They're just trying to have a good time and make it so that you can't see anything. But I think it's a really catchy song. And anyone who says that this is one of the worst songs in the game simply doesn't have good rhythm. And I got thrown
off at the very end. That's okay, though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Yeah, because they make you keep going through the fade out.
And I got another just okay. But again, I'm just going to keep going just so that to keep things a bit more interesting. That honestly should have all... Yeah, that ending section is also pretty annoying just because of You have to keep going, even during the perfect campaign, if you miss any of those, it counts off. Alright, this remix is really short.
It is. It's also like kind of another difficulty spike even after Monkey Watch in a way, because you'll see like board meeting is suddenly super fast to react to. What else is there? The forklift ending is pretty rough for some people. Tambourine is still Tambourine, but if you already don't like Monkey Watch, you're not gonna like it here either. So this is kind of a Monkey Watch into Remix 2 is a big difficulty spike in the game. Also, the color palette is very interesting.
Alright, I got that ending part. That ending part's pretty satisfying.
Yeah, I was talking about how that's a tricky one.
Yeah. I'm not going to be getting all the medals, but again, I just figured for the sake of the marathon, I don't really want to have to like redo any games, because that would just make things a bit more boring.
Yeah.
This is another...
If we don't redo anything, it should be more like an hour 53, 52, give or take.
And then this is another game that everybody loves. Hold on just 1 second.
I will say before like I go into this game that for reference, if you aren't running all medals, and say if you just do any percent, which only goes to Remix 7, it is faster to get an OK rank on every stage. So people who, I mean, you technically can speedrun this for what it's worth, and people who do the any percent run have it memorize exactly what the criteria would be to get all the OK ranks. And this is another case of repeat after me in a new setting, a factory setting. It's called Working Dough because the jumping things, I guess, are just little pieces of dough. I don't even know what the balls they're hitting are meant to represent, but they've got to move them. They start giving you some longer rhythms, and they'll also be a section which I think is coming up that I want to be quiet for because it does require some counting to get it right.
Yeah, here it is. So that's another fun one.
It certainly is. The whatever they're doing is helping the big robot to blast off. And yeah, the big part is that pause at the end. I think that's a really key part into whether or not you can get a medal. And that they play into that a lot more when this game returns in the second part of the run.
Mm-hmm. And then here's Built to Scale, but it's not the same Built to Scale that was on the DS game.
No, in fact, Built to Scale was in a different form in the original Rhythm Tengoku on GBA as well. So it's taken a completely different form in all of them. In this one, they look... The little widgets you're building are pretty similar looking to the ones on DS. It's kind of a boring game though, because you're going to get the same rhythms, what is it, 8 times in a row, just at different tempos?
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe 9 times. No, not that many. Anyway, I hope you like this little mini riff. It gets really slow near the end and then fastest at the end.
I believe this is the slowest any main game is in the entire series. I think that's just 60 BPM. There we go. Yeah. So, not too interesting, but it's not that hard of a one. That's one game that is actually kind of difficult to do without sight because you have to know which side the widgets are coming from. And if you don't have like stereo
you can memorize
sound,
it.
can be
It's
really
not
difficult.
any different, but yeah, absolutely.
And then this is another kind of fun one. Two cats in the sky playing badminton. What could go wrong?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So your rival, I guess, in this game, even though you can't score any points on them, they're pretty noisy. When they're kind of humming to themselves a little bit, that's when you know that a slower shot is coming. And another one that uses visuals to kind of mess with you a little bit if you're not paying attention to the music. Like, there are some sections where they get incredibly far apart, but it's just the same beats with the music. And, you know, other stuff to distract you in the background, like the birds. No birds were harmed in the making of this speedrun. And I do apologize that this is kind of one of the games that gets stuck in your head. The Rivals text box changes sort of depending on how well you did, but if you miss it, they're kind of like, oh, I forget exactly what they say, but it's something like, you can't miss the last shot.
Well, I only missed one
Hopefully
there, and he said
here.
good job, so that's fine. Yeah, their names are Baxter and Forthington, by the way.
Back and forth. Okay, yes, I remember that now.
Yeah. And then this.
I also like how there's a different character assessing you, and that one's the birds.
So you're not pressing A to make the doll punch, you're pressing A to buff it up when it punches.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and jab, jab. 1.
So there are a few different cues. I think there are 4 different cues that you'll have to react to. Like,
And jab, jab.
there's the regular 1-2s that were right at the beginning. It's pretty simple. You do 2 punches back in the same rhythm. And there's a 1-2 that's double time of that,
Jab.
which is a pretty tricky one. You have to be paying attention. The regular
Jab, jab.
attack, the most common one throughout this little game here is the and jab,
Jab,
which is just punch. Basically on the offbeat of the song is when you'll be punching.
jab.
And then your 3 quick ones after hearing go, go, go.
1, 2, and jab.
I heard that through your end, so I wasn't quite on time with that go, 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 but
1, 2.
seems like it's going well.
1, 2, 1, 2, and jab, jab, jab. And 1, 2.
It's the fast little 1-2s there.
1, 2.
This announcer's so happy.
Jab, jab. And 1, 2, and jab, jab. Go, go, go. And jab, 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 jab. Go, go, go. And jab, 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 jab. Go, go, go. And jab, jab. And 1, 2.
So I don't actually know if missing that last one kills your Superb. I know it does in Figure Fighter 2, though. But thankfully I got it. And now we get on to a long remix, but also a really good one. This song is amazing. I love this song. Because this is the first...
It is a really good one. I do have a...
Oh, what did you say?
Go ahead. You go first.
You go first.
Okay, fine. I was going to say that this is a remix that it's kind of the first one that tries to mess you up by taking certain games a little slower. Notably, Air Rally is at a slower tempo, which can kind of mess you up if you're used to that going fast.
Also, we've got lyrics.
Unfortunately, no varying tempos were built to scale in this one, but there are a couple instances, at least one, where built to scale uses the offbeat, which comes back later on in the game as a whole, not just this mini game here, this remix. I'm having a hard time saying game for the individual games and game for the game as a whole. Anyway. The chef theme is very fun here. I don't know what chefs have to do with the song in particular that's playing, but we like the bright colors anyway.
Build to scale.
Yeah. I like the bridge to the song too. The working go section.
Go, go, go!
I don't think I have too much more to say, so I think we can all enjoy the music.
Jab, jab, 1, 2, jab, 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 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2.
So that was most likely a Superb, and the reason why I know that is because the very first time I ever played this remix, I had like 15 misses, and I still managed to get a Superb ranking on it.
There is indeed a lot of variation between each of the little games you play. What can and can't be Superb. With a long one like that, and also being a remix, I feel like remixes can be a lot nicer about it. But now we go into probably the fan favorite of this game.
I think it's a little overrated, but it's still fun.
Well, it's definitely the biggest meme of this game, and the only question I have is, wubba dubba dub, is that true?
Wubba dubba dub, is that true?
Post with the fans.
Wubba dubba dub, is that true?
And post with the fans.
Wubba dubba dub, is that true?
So they turned an interview into a rhythm game, and it's pretty fun, honestly.
Wubba dubba dub, is that true?
I mean, actually, the rhythm part of it is somewhat lackluster compared to the other things they have, but they had to throw a funny one in there. So you've got the standard answers to "is that true?" and he's always saying yes, and it's always shocking. That's just a simple A press, and whenever she's encouraging him, saying "whoa, you go, big guy." That's 2 quick A presses to give a little flex, and then posing for the fans is your A and B together. It's got a pretty good background song to go with it, in my opinion.
Wubba dubba dub, is that true? Wubba dubba dub, is that true? Whoa, you go, big guy. Wubba dubba dub, is that true? Wubba dubba dub, is that true?
Yeah, pretty fun one, but again, I think it's maybe been memed a bit to death.
Ah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
Still, if this is the one that gets people playing this game, I'm all for it.
Yeah. And I would try to reproduce what the reporter says in Japanese, but I can't. It's like, or something like that, I don't remember.
So she definitely goes tiki tiki tick instead of wubba dubba dub. Unfortunately, I don't know the Japanese for is that true. Ah, packing pests. This is one that I somehow forget about existing, even though it's literally the first song of Remix 10. So, in this case, your primary control is kind of the opposite because you're using A and B to catch the candies. And so that's the one that you're using to catch them and put them in the box. But there are actually more spiders than candies because every time you catch a candy, there is at least one spider, but sometimes there are two. So even though you're catching A and B as the primary, I think it's just an interesting piece of trivia that you're still tapping A by itself more often than pinching A and B together. The double up of swatting away the spiders is a similar double offbeat to the one that Monkey Watch uses.
Yeah, it's really satisfying to hit too. Also, no idea what the other ghosts in the background are supposed to be doing. The spider's a byproduct of whatever candy this is. Yeah, most of these games just kind of go without an explanation. Such as this one.
Oh boy, yeah.
I love
Well,
this one.
I mean, they've made a scientific discovery. They don't know why they're doing what they're doing, but the little microbes here have a dance that they want to show off. So, this is kind of like Monkey Watch, but easier than Monkey Watch. Because, well, it depends. If you're paying attention to the visuals a little too much, it's not necessarily easier to hit the offbeats. But the overall, main part of the game is tapping on the offbeats, the 2 and 4 of each measure. But instead of having the extra offbeat parts, like the purple monkeys in Monkey Watch were, here we just have a 3, like a 2, 3, 4 in each measure that you hear the bell or the chime or whatever. So in that regard, I think it is easier than Monkey Watch was.
I would agree.
And even though the visuals are something that you should be ignoring if you can for something like this, if you're not
I
too
love how
experienced with
dirty
music
they
and all
look.
that. Even though the visuals aren't helping you at all, I do like how much effort they put into making this game look pretty.
Yeah.
Or stand out and pop in certain games.
So here's Samurai Slice, of which there is one variation in every single game in the series.
It's true. It didn't make it into a full rhythm game in DS.
Yeah, it was just an
Although I wish
thing
it
there.
did. I like Samurai Slice DS a lot. This one, however, uses an entirely different song. And we get a little story to go along with it. Like, eventually, this is the one where he gets the pinwheel back, right?
Yes.
So, there are 2 different cues in this one. First of all, the standard slice. Enemy jumps at you, you slice enemy. Just tap the A button. Now in a big cloud of them, you'll have to pinch the A and B button, excuse me, but also release it at the correct time to get the final slash.
I always thought you could just
Kind of an important part. I think you are supposed to release in time, otherwise you'll miss the slash. But, you know, feel free to prove me wrong for science. And yeah, it goes without saying, but the story is now just trying to block you out from the action. You can still just barely see what's going on behind it if you need to, but really, it's another case of the game telling you without telling you, just listen to the music.
Alright, we got the pinwheel. I don't know why anybody would care about
I think you have to get the pinwheel for the medal.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody would care about a pinwheel, but sure. Alright, Remix 4, I'm not the biggest fan of. It's not a bad remix by any means, but I think the minigame balance in this one is kind of off. Like, micro...
I like the song a lot.
Yeah, the song is pretty good. It's definitely grown on me. Also, you have this. And I think the text actually changes each time you play it. Like, sometimes it's mountains.
Yes, I do believe that is accurate.
Is that true? Whoa, you go, big guy.
So like Viper was saying, Micro Row only shows up twice in this fairly long remix, giving Samurai Slice and Ringside the spotlight. There's not even that much of Packing Pests either. Like, a lot of the focus is really just on Samurai Slice and Ringside.
And the double up cue is good here.
It's true. Yeah, they don't give you the hardest cue for Packing Pests. But yeah, I do like the background music a lot. There's nothing that this remix really does to try to throw you off in any case. So gameplay-wise, maybe it is a little disappointing remix, but I feel like this has always been one of my favorite remix songs. And at least we get to hear more from our favorite wrestler who is now turned samurai.
Right there, I just held A and B together, so yeah, that it does.
Okay.
It doesn't really care about when you release it. I think that might be Karate Man you're thinking of.
Karate Man definitely does. I was watching
Also
someone play this for the first time recently, and I think they were having trouble with Samurai Slice, but yes, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, also the Horde of Demons cue uses a triplet. I don't know if it's kind of difficult to notice if you're not listening for it. So yeah, obviously I'm not going to be going for
It does, although that's not important to the actual inputs.
Yeah. I hate this game, by the way. It's great
Yeah,
to use
do you
in
want
custom
me to
remixes,
be a
but
little
I
bit
hate
quieter
the
so you can concentrate?
It's fine. I can kind of listen.
Is there anything you want to say first?
No, I'm good.
Alright, so this is our fishing game. Our first fish is just 1, 2, and go. Another slightly bigger fish as something to try and throw you off. It does a complicated cue to just be like 1, 2, 3, go, and then the 3 fish
1, 2, 3, go.
is like one of the most random rhythms in the game. Yeah, I'm slightly scared to talk over it, so if I can, I might try to explain the 3 fish a little bit more in between, but...
Go. It's like on the offbeat of... It's the offbeat of beat 3. 1, 2...
I know, and it gives you the whole measure to count before that. He's also just a really scary fish.
I love how that was perfect and I didn't even need to be worried about it. Yeah.
Yeah, this was the one that Viper was telling me he was the most worried about, I think.
Yeah, but considering I've already messed up on 2 games, that's not that big of a deal, but at least I got it. Set 5 is where I would definitely say the difficulty starts to ramp up a little bit, because now we've got... This game isn't necessarily difficult as long as you're paying attention. It's also very cute.
Yes, I do love Flipper Flop quite a lot. Just the little seals. Slowly building up stamina to do more and more consecutive, what they call flipper rolls.
2 flipper rolls. 1, 2. Well done.
Just to make sure you can't get away with anything,
3 flipper rolls.
the seal that you represent has to be in between 2 others.
4 flipper rolls. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well done.
Flipper rolls, just for reference, are
4,
the move in this that
nice.
you use the A and B button together for. But he does have to tap on the beat for the entire game.
Flipper rolls. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And there is a little cue.
Good job.
You might hear a higher note in the game and kind of go
Flipper rolls.
ding, ding,
1,
ding.
2, 3, 4.
I apologize. I tried to hit the right note, but I am aware that it was too high.
1 flipper roll. 1. Good job. 2 flipper roll.
So, but whenever you hear that cue,
9 flipper roll.
he has to
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
kind of match that rhythm afterwards.
1 flipper roll. 1. Nice.
So yeah, we built all the way up to 8, and then there's 1 flipper roll, and now we build up a little more, and then
10 flipper roll. 1.
we finish with a whole bunch more.
3, 4, 1.
They're being so cute. I don't know why they're being worked so hard.
1 flipper roll. That's it.
Alright. I got thrown off because I thought I heard a triple Q at one point, but I didn't.
Oh, I hope that wasn't my fault.
It wasn't your fault. It's very hard to hear sometimes. I have my TV turned up louder than I normally do. And then this game is
Yeah,
literally
that cue isn't the best.
Yeah, this game is literally just the same thing over and over again. And it's also, again, unnecessarily in swing tempo.
Yeah, so there isn't really too much to explain here. But whenever the pitcher throws the ball, you wait for 4 counts, and then you hit it. Man, that ball really disappears. And yeah, the song goes through all the keys again as well. Oops.
Okay, I noticed that the pitcher hasn't thrown off their hat yet, so I'm a little worried. They might do that later. If you hit all of them up to this point, they'd have thrown their hat off by now. think this is the important one. So you hit a home run on that one. And then in this last one, you get a little monkey friend.
Yep.
That was probably not a superb. I think those 2 misses cost me.
Yeah, it's such a weird game to throw in
then.
late, but I mean, I guess the fact that it's late.
Okay then, I guess.
It's late.
Didn't count against me.
Huh.
It's very inconsistent. Oh yeah, and then this game is great. This is another really great one. This is another keep the beat game where you're mostly inputting on every quarter note.
You'll see gradually as it goes on that more and more friends want to join in with you. Flockstep, yes, very funny. Kind of like Lockstep, in which there was a game. But yeah, the bird friends, you know, they go away and then they'll come back later. The bitrate for like basically any stream you'll find of this doesn't always make it clear, but it's okay, we can enjoy the song. The little squawking cues they're doing, that's when they do like a crouch and then a jump, which is when you want to hold the 2 buttons together and then release. However, you're never actually changing your timing of when you press buttons in this game. It's always just keeping the beat. Sometimes on some beats you'll be holding A and B together. Everyone wants to join in, and I mean everyone. And everyone's welcome here. Isn't it beautiful? I will mention just before we get to the end that you want to keep the rhythm going right until the fade out. Another tricky part.
Yeah, it's a little bit easier though than it is in Monkey Watch. Also, the birds are not in frame perfect sync with each other, which now that I've said that is going to ruin the minigame for all of you. And I believe they are called the Hubirds of Happiness. Because why not?
X out.
Alrighty.
1, 2, 3, go!
So Remix 5, I believe the game says, has a prehistoric theme.
Yep.
I've always wondered why they didn't give the fish themselves a retexturing, because they retexture so many things for the remixes, but they just give the lake a slightly different setting.
Company. 2 flipper roll. 1, 2. 2 flipper roll. 1, 2.
In the end, this remix isn't really too long either.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
Attention, company. 2 flipper roll. 1, 2. 1 flipper roll. 1.
Oh, and of course, having 2 games in the same set that are keep the beat games, you can do like seamless transitions in between Flipper Flop and Flockstep if you want to.
Yeah, that's a very common thing that's used in custom remixes. Which, by the way, definitely check some of those out. There's some really great ones. And then 7. Set 6 is where set 6 might, I'd say in general, be the hardest set. Or at least the hardest of the first 7.
Set 6 really starts playing around with rhythms more than really anything in the series has so far. Like Fever and the ones before that. Now, Launch Party has less variation than the game wants you to believe. Because the ones that count down from 1, 5, and 7, it's actually all the same rhythms. The only different one is the one starting from 3. Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much else to say than that. I don't know, I enjoy the different ways the rockets look, and a nice journey through whatever version of space this is. But, I don't know, I've always thought this particular game was kind of mid.
Also, I should point this out because I did have 2 misses there, but I think there are certain rhythm games in this that don't actually care if you make unnecessary inputs as long as you hit all the proper inputs. So you could literally just massacre all of the rockets. There used to be a task of this, but it doesn't exist anymore. You could literally just massacre all of the rockets, but only hit the ones the game requires you to hit and still get a superb. And then there's Donk Donk.
Now, the first instance... Yeah, Donk Donk. The first instance of this set, like really playing around with rhythms, is like introducing triplets to you here. So technically speaking, like in music theory, this song uses compound timing, and it wants you to input like triplets. Now, when they're not doing their like constant triplets, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Again, sorry if that messes you up. But when they're not doing that, they're missing the 3rd beat of the triplet. And all the while they're saying donk donk. And that is why this game is called Donk Donk. Does the game say where they're trying to get to?
It doesn't, and also in the character list, it just calls them, these guys? Because even the game developers themselves don't know what these things are.
They couldn't come up with a name other than Donk Donk.
Yeah.
Just because it's what they say. But it's a pretty good one.
And then this game is one of the few in the series where the name of the game is actually a reference to the rhythm it uses. Because I think Bossa Nova is is like the name of a certain rhythm pattern.
Yeah, it's a style of music, if I'm not mistaken, that traditionally uses like this kind of rhythm that you'll be hearing. And we were talking before the run started about how this is probably one of the hardest games to play without music experience, because you're swapping between 2 rhythms the whole time. And, you know, these rhythms don't ever change, like the blue cubes and the orange balls. They're, like, always the same. But they're kind of alternating rhythms that you would expect out of a bossa nova piece. You can like really isolate the rhythms. Neither of them are too hard, but the tricky part for anyone really when they first play this is, you know, just staying on top of which side you're on. And this would be another case where if you can't see, like if you go off sound only, you would have to memorize which side you start on, for example. There have been blindfolded runs of the whole game, like blindfolded all medals is a category. So people are familiar with what's where. And I think there is the menus are pretty consistent if you are blindfolded too. Although getting to a new set might be difficult if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you can just use the D-pad for menuing, so it's not really that hard. And it doesn't, like, wrap around when you go from one side to the other, so you can pretty easily tell whether or not you're at the edge of the menu. And another game that you either really love or really hate, Love Rap, aka Love Yep.
Yeah, so do you want a little bit more concentration on this one?
I mean, you can probably keep talking. Like, I made it through the last game pretty well, but yeah, I'll probably...
To be
Most
honest,
of this game isn't
I'm not
really
sure
that bad,
where
it's
to
just
begin
the faux show
explaining this.
cues under the problem.
Yeah, there are a lot of different cues in this one. Is it 5 maybe? I'm not sure.
I think it's, yeah, I think that's about right. Give or take.
Into you.
And I think this game also suffered from localization issues, because it fits a lot better in Japanese.
Into you.
Into you.
Into you.
Into you.
This is just a really weird game that has like...
Crazy into you.
Crazy into
I've been a musician for almost all my life, and I struggle with some of the cues sometimes.
into
Now, I haven't like put too much effort into grinding this game by any means, but getting perfects on Love Rap, and especially Love Rap 2,
Into you.
all about you.
it took me a few tries.
All about you.
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 Faux show.
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 All about you.
All about you.
Faux show.
Faux show.
Faux show.
Faux show.
Faux show.
Faux show.
Crazy into you.
Crazy into you.
Into
You wish the song was more interesting too.
Into you.
Into you.
Yeah, this is the kind of game you honestly just need to get a feel for, I think. Because the faux show cues aren't exactly obvious when you're supposed to input on, but eventually you kind of figure it out. And then the game tries to throw you off by using different variations of the faux show and crazy into you cues.
Yeah, I mean, the concept behind that game is pretty interesting because, like, it gives you a lot of different rhythms to work with and respond to, really. But the way they put it into the game is
Into
not many people's favorite idea.
Into you.
And of course, Remix 6, now we get to see how that set all joins together.
Into you.
Faux show.
They do have to,
Crazy into you.
or no. Yeah, so they made the song bouncy to begin with, which fits for Donk Donk, but they have to resort to a straight timing rather than a swing timing for Bossa Nova, because you really just can't swing that.
Into
You could swing the Bossa Nova rhythm, but they don't want to.
Faux show.
Faux show.
Into you.
Into you.
Faux show.
Faux show.
Faux show. Into you.
Into you.
Into you.
Into you.
Faux show.
Faux show.
I don't know if you feel this way, but the Bossa Nova sections feel really fast.
Crazy into you.
It's not that bad. during that part with the offbeat faux show, the offbeat one was the one I got, and I missed the one after that.
I mean, you can... Yeah. You can get the surprising parts like that with Love Rap and then mess up the supposedly easy parts.
Also, that game is just carnival themed for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, who knows why they made the remix themes what they are.
And now we have another input every quarter note game with these guys who apparently have boxes on their heads for some reason.
1, 2, 1, 2.
The important part is that they have tap shoes on their feet. I guess that's important. That's the whole part of the little game here. There's a very good reveal at the end of this game, though.
Ready and tap, tap, tap.
Or is that in this one, or is that Remix 7?
It's in this one.
Okay.
Ready and bum, 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 tap, tap, tap. Ready and tap, tap, tap.
So there's nothing new with keeping the beat,
Bum, bum, bum.
just raising their feet in every beat. But the tap 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 cues are actually kind of tricky to wrap your head around sometimes, because depending on how long they last, you'll be going back to the beat at kind of a different time.
Ready and tap, tap, tap. Ready and tap, tap, tap. Ready and tap, tap, tap. Ready and tap, tap, ready and tap, tap, ready and bum, 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 tap, tap, tap. Ready.
And of course they're saying okay every time, but we're hoping to get superb and not okay.
Ready and bum, 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 tap, tap, tap. Ready and tap, tap, tap. Ready and bum, 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 tap, tap, tap.
That's another game that doesn't really care if you make unnecessary inputs as long as you hit all the necessary inputs. Also, if you miss in that, the other tappers blow raspberries at you, and it's kind of funny. And then here's a game that will probably throw you off the first time you play it.
Oh yeah.
Because this is another kind of keep the beat game, but it's also in swing tempo. So you kind of have to get used to that. It's very bouncy.
Together, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, very bouncy. Swing tempo is right. It's a compound timing,
2, 1. Together, 1.
and it also throws in some offbeats.
Together, 1, 2, 3. A, B, C. Together, 1, 2, 3. 3.
Now the ABC on C is when you pinch A and B together, but there are other cues where they pause and then, well no, it's not even offbeats, it's just they pause and then you have to do the same set of inputs but delayed.
3, 2, 1. Together, 1, 2, 3. 3, 2.
And slowly but we think surely, they move along the beach this way, but every time they say C, they have to take a big leap backwards, so this doesn't seem like the most efficient way of traveling.
1 together, 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1 together, 1, 2, 3. A, B, C. Together, 1, 2, 3. A, B, C. Together, 1, 2, 3. A, B, C. 1, 2, 3. 3.
There isn't too much that the game does visually, though, so
Together, 1, 2, 3.
I think they figured it was probably hard enough for
Together, 1, 2, 3.
anyone who's not too experienced with music and complicated rhythms.
3, 2, 1 together, 1, 2, 3.
Because this is one where you really do just have to pay attention to the music and the cues that it gives you.
Also, I'm pretty sure barleys in that game are complete. Like, there's no way to tell visually or audibly when you get a barely input, so you just kind of have to be paying very close attention. But I think I hit everything there. And here's another fan favorite game, Cheerleaders. The concept
Readers.
The concept behind this game is kind of cool.
I don't know. I think the concept is really odd, and the game has no right to be as good as it is. There are some very tricky cues, though.
It's up to you. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
A lot of fast ones and a lot of ones
1, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2,
sort of relying on the offbeats.
2, 3. 2, 3. It's on. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Up to 1, 2, 3. Retro Gaming Live 1, 2, 3. 1, 2,
What do you think the hardest cue is in this game?
3. Up to you. Retro Gaming Live.
Okay, it's on.
2, 3. 2, 3.
Okay, it's on.
1, 2, 3. Up to you.
See, that one doesn't look like it would be the hardest, but you're right. There is something about it. Like, it's oddly specific. Like, less lenient than the game usually is with the pinching cues. Because you also have to release... This one you definitely do have to release on the beat. The stuff like, let's go read a bunch of books, it's kind of scary for first-timers. Although the slightly slower one ending in boom, I think, takes a little more concentration for me.
Also, those the like pictures they're showing when they flip their books up during the "Okay, it's on" cues are actually characters from past Rhythm Heaven games. So you had the Onions from Rhythm Tweezers, which is from Rhythm Tengoku. You had DJ School and Student from DJ School, and then you had the like Switch Steppers from Lockstep. So some nice callbacks.
1, 2. 1, 2.
And then we get this banger.
1, 2. 1, 2. 3.
Yeah, a really nice song here.
3.
Only Storm much better than Struck by the Rain. And either one is infinitely better than whichever one they used in Rhythm Tengoku. So a little bit of history for Karate Man. Karate Man was the first game ever in the series. Rhythm Tengoku, the first one, Japan only for GBA in 2006. And then he came back as kind of the pre-finale for Rhythm Heaven DS. And he also takes the pre-finale spot here because we're totally ending with Remix 7. And I also like that they gave him a much faster tempo song in this game. Because DS, it doesn't really feel like it should take that spot at all. But it throws a lot of the more common rhythms that the game has thrown at you. So you've got reaction to the normal pots being thrown. It's got some offbeat pots. It has some consecutive hit threes and the really big pinch move to hit everything at once and then release the A and B together to hit the last barrel. When whoever's given the cue says "pal," that's when you release.
Such a good game.
If I may give a little bit of trivia. The key for this song actually changes pretty drastically between English and Japanese.
It does. Yeah, I think it's like... I think this version it's lowered by a semitone compared to the Japanese version.
It's more than a semitone, so...
It's like 2 or 3.
English is G minor, Japanese is B flat minor. So that is 3 half steps apart. to say about Remix 7 to get us started?
Not really.
Alright, so this is totally the end of the game. It uses, predictably, the last 4 games that you've played all combined into one to round off that set. With a sort of a space theme? I don't know. It's not fully in space. I don't know, maybe this is VR before we had VR. And you do have the slightly awkward timing changes when it goes to Shrimp Shuffle because it has to suddenly go into swing. I do like this song a decent amount. It's not one of the best, but I like it. And also, if you are a fan of the series, you should notice even more characters that weren't referenced before in the "Okay, It's On" from the cheerleaders. There's nothing that this remix does that is really especially hard, like nothing to throw you off that you haven't seen before. It's just a steady tempo for everything that is maybe a little faster for, say, Tap Troop and cheerleaders, but, you know, slightly slowed down for Karate Man.
And then here is going to
really
be the
long
only other bit of
section.
speed tech in this game. And it's basically the same thing we've done before. I'm going to wait for the saving text to go away. And this will actually allow me to skip the ending sequence of the game and go straight into the sequels.
Yeah, so like the tutorial skip, same thing for the credit skip, and we still have sets 8 through 10. Rhythm Heaven DS, the kind of finale point, the first finale was Remix 6, this one goes to Remix 7, so there aren't as many sequels. That's okay, really, because we like seeing what original ideas they could come up with.
And I think the sequels were done slightly better in DS. Most of these sequels in Fever are just the same but harder. It's not until set 10 that you start getting like new cues.
Yeah, so if you're playing for the first game, you can practice everything up until now, everything that isn't a remix. When you get to sequels, there's no practice. But if they add in a new cue, which is extremely rare actually in Rhythm Heaven Fever, that's when you get practice. Of course, Viper hasn't taken a single practice session this entire run. It's optional. You can skip ahead to the real thing. And for what this game is as a speedrun, that's what you want to do. I guess it's technically the biggest, most common speed tech you have, just skipping straight to the action. And that one's fully intentional, unlike the tutorial and credit skips. But yes, nothing new in Samurai Slice. The way they make it harder is they add in 2 in a row a lot more often, and they've pitched the tempo up a lot, and they will do more to block your vision at the end. And I believe once again you have to get to final input to get the stuffy rabbit back in order to get the medal. I guess the other thing the game does to pretend to make it harder is the enemies get a lot bigger. But that has no actual effect on what you need to do.
Mm-hmm. I think it's just to kind of add a bit more variety to the game. It doesn't necessarily make it more difficult. And at least this game makes a little bit more sense than Samurai Slice 1. This time you're getting back a bunny.
Samurai just loves kids.
Mm-hmm. And hates demons. And then there's Working Dough 2, which I don't understand this game.
I don't either, but it's sneakily really hard. if I'm talking over a hard section, please do tell me to shut up, because there is some really, really important counting in the back half. Like the music.
I mean, the music helps.
Is like really cutting out. The music helps when it actually gives it to you. So the funny thing is that to start off, it's not giving you as many inputs, like nowhere near as many inputs as you had in Working Dough 1. Oh, don't worry, we don't pretend to understand Donk Donk either. But I think the fact that it's the fact that there aren't as many inputs, that's actually one of the things that makes it harder. Is timing the inputs right. And it's sort of a real skill that musicians have to use, like getting a specific timing for certain notes and just waiting for the right time.
Right, here's the hard part.
This is where I should probably be a little quieter.
Nailed it. I actually think in some ways Working Dough 2 is easier than Working Dough because there's not as many consecutive inputs. But it is also...
See, from a musician's standpoint, that's where I disagree, but...
Yeah.
You are a musician too, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to say anything like that.
Not as big. I mean, the last time I did anything with... I was a high school choir student, so I've done my fair share of music stuff. And I also like analyzing it to certain degrees, but the last time I really did anything significant would have been my senior year of high school, which was 4 years ago.
Yeah, I mean... It's also whatever is easier and whatever isn't easier in this game. It's entirely personal, isn't it? So, like, I know that I find Working Dough 2 a lot harder. But it's still no Love Rap, that's for sure. Love Rap 2 coming up? Hoo boy. And what's actually on your screen is Built to Scale 2, which, you know... Is it exactly the same tempos as you worked with before, just now dealing with offbeats? I think it might be, yeah. We're dealing with offbeats and then there's one extra tiny widget at the end. But same deal, you're doing the same rhythms 8 or so times in a row. It might only be 7.
Also, the tempo changes.
Certainly makes sense.
For some of them, the tempo changes gradually between certain sets of the widgets. Like
that is true, and that does make the added one harder, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. For some of them. And here's Double Date 2, where now we're on a farm. And they try to sneak in a few more offbeats here.
They really love their offbeats in this one, and they don't love swing music anymore. I guess farmers don't know how to swing. My apologies to any farmers watching.
And the guy's now wearing a really weird outfit.
She's into it.
I guess.
Although if you think about it, like for the entire Double Date 1 and 2, she's way more into the weasels there. Until the end. She does give him a very cute look at the end. think you did a good job, at least.
I mean, it is a
Double football
days.
cues are pretty good. Yeah, that's true. The other thing that I noticed is, like, on top of throwing the offbeat cues at you, they liked using basketballs a lot more. And like I mentioned earlier, no real difference rhythm-wise between basketballs and soccer balls. Maybe the sheep and whatever else is in the pen back there, maybe they enjoy playing basketball a little more.
That was actually, so when I was starting to go for perfect campaigns on this game, this was the very first game I got a perfect on. Which is, I guess, neat.
Not
trivia.
bad.
Yeah. Also, the soccer balls are totally soccer balls falling from any soccer balls that fell during Space Soccer, which is a DS game.
You know, that would make sense.
And then
Who
here's
can we
what
blame for playing space basketball?
Here's what I think is the fastest game in this game, not counting endless games. It's like 190 BPM.
So obviously this is where we have a compilation of the last 4 games we played in the set. But no, they will start throwing some others in there too. And again, no practice, so it really does throw you off when you first play. I know we're long past it at this point, but I do enjoy how the beginning of this song kind of gives you a false sense of security with not being too fast in the double date. And then suddenly, bam. Also, apologies for a light rickroll in the chorus. Go ahead.
Yeah, the song lyrics are actually kind of toxic if you really think about it, but we won't get into that. Also, the exhibition match segments of that are definitely the hardest for me, and you might have noticed I was doing them with my eyes closed, because it's easier for me to time it when I'm not looking at the screen. Anyways, and now here's another amazing game that I'm sure many people have struggled to get a perfect on. Honestly, this game kind of slaps once you kind of get past the difficulty aspect of it.
I enjoy the song a lot more than I do for Love Rep 1.
Crazy into you. Into you.
The cues, however, they just are kind of relentless.
Into you.
Into you.
Faux show.
Faux show.
Into you.
Into you.
Faux show.
Faux show.
Into you.
Into you.
Faux show.
Faux show.
Crazy into you.
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 Faux show.
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 Into you.
Into you.
Boat show.
Boat show.
Crazy into you.
Crazy into you.
All about 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 you.
Boat show.
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 All about you.
All about you.
Boat show.
Boat show.
Boat show.
Boat show.
Crazy into you.
Crazy into you.
Into you.
Into you.
Boat show.
Boat show.
Crazy into you.
Crazy into you.
Boat show.
Boat show.
Into you.
Into you.
Boat show.
Boat show.
Crazy into you.
Crazy into you.
Boat show.
Boat show.
Into you.
Into you.
Crazy into you.
Crazy into you.
Into you.
Into you.
Crazy into you.
Crazy into you.
Into you.
Into you.
All about you.
All about
I noticed
you.
the rapper guys were blushing at one point during that song. I don't think I've ever noticed that before.
Yeah, I mean,
Flare Sword, I would
Good
definitely
job on
agree
that.
with that. The timing is definitely takes some getting used to. Yeah. Cheerleaders 2 is basically just Cheerleaders 1, but it just stacks more cues together. Yeah.
yeah, I enjoy this version of Cheerleaders a lot. The first one's, pretty decent. It's got some layers of complexity to it, but Cheerleaders 2 grabs it up a little more, and I think it's a little better. Also, the setting is, well, they've upgraded, I guess. So have to love how the book is called Book. Well, it looks like it's saying Book. Once again, if you know the series, check the references that you see when they spin the book. Say okay, it's on. We've seen the turnips from Rhythm Tweezers. We've seen the ping pong players. We've seen the Moai. Ping pong players from Rhythm Rally, of course. And all in all, the rhythms play really well into the song.
I think I had one barely during that, which kind of surprises me, but it doesn't really matter.
I noticed one, but
Yeah, that one of the
that
books ended
shouldn't
up kind of
affect your rank
tilted.
at all.
I actually wasn't expecting that. I thought I had it timed well, but maybe I didn't. It doesn't matter. I still got it. And now we finally get the sequel for the very first game, and it's once again only marginally more interesting.
Yeah, it's an awkward name, isn't it? Hole in 1, 2. I thought it would have been funny if they turn it into Hole in 2, so you're a worse shot, but, the more I think about it, the more interesting that could have been, really, because, it would have had an extra element. Oh, it is a little tricky to respond to the small monkey's cues of quickly throwing the golf balls at you. Because sometimes you have to swing on consecutive beats, which you never had to do in the first game. And, that's partly because it was the first game, and I mentioned how much I like this being the first game, but I'm also glad they brought it back and spiced it up a little bit. Although all in all, it's nothing special compared to the other sequels. I think it really would have benefited from having a new cue to use entirely rather than just the monkey trying to fake you out with the consecutive throws. The mandrill will sometimes have some offbeats that weren't a factor before, including the very last one.
I mean, I think a lot of these sequels could have really benefited from more cues, but at least you don't have anything like the Dazzles 2, which is... It has different patterns, but all the inputs are the same as the Dazzles 1. And now we're coming up on Screwbot Factory 2, which, once again, my capture card does not like, so we're gonna see some freezes here. Except sometimes it goes into the dark, which is, where you can start to see a little bit more when it goes dark. Also...
So, it would probably be worth me explaining, like, once again, how this game works. You're screwing on the heads of these little screw bots. The gray robots are about 2 beats, and then the little white robots, if you can see them, are 1 beat. The gray ones, when you got it all right, they say, "Ah, yeah," and the white ones, they say, "Let's go." And there will be a section, I think it's all in the dark, so maybe we'll get to see some, where you'll have lots of white robots in a row. But again, other than adding the dark sections, which we can now actually see, thanks to a weird quirk in how Viper's capture works, there really isn't anything different other than just adding more robots in. And yeah, we're really not sure why the capture card wouldn't like this one, especially with such simple colors. But I guess it's the black and white that it doesn't like.
Fun fact, you can do CPR to that song, because it's 110 BPM, I think. And I think that's the optimal beats per minute to do CPR to.
They say somewhere between 100 to 120, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you can do CPR
that's the case,
to
that would be
song.
accurate.
And here is what I think many people would consider the best remix. I would also highly encourage paying very close attention to the lyrics.
So the theming of this remix is pretty fun. It's like a studio, and then the compilation of mini games is pretty wild. Like the board meeting that you'll see in here is extremely mean, actually, because you only have 3 of the, I believe they're boards, and stop very quickly. The first time you play, you got almost nothing to react to. And then you've just got other random things to just test if you remember how they work.
And the man girl's growing out his hair.
A little bit. He's got a friend.
So I messed up on the tambourine section, and that's actually kind of funny because they actually changed up one of the cues in the tambourine section on the Japanese version. I think the third shake is like half a beat earlier to accommodate for the different timing in the lyrics on the Japanese version. So that's another fun bit of trivia. And here we get into the final set of games. And pretty much all of these games have different cues. So they're starting to shake things up a little bit more.
1, 2. 1, 2.
So the first two games in this final set actually have kind of a similar new rhythm that they adopted,
1, 2.
where instead of being like every other beat,
And jab.
it's
Jab.
sort of the
Go, go,
second
go.
beat and then an offbeat after that,
1, 2. And jab. 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 Jab.
which you'll see
1,
once
2.
the game here gets going.
And jab. 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 Go, go, go. And jab. 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 1, 2. And jab. 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 Go, go, go. And 1, 2. 1, 2. Go, go, go.
Other than that, all of the cues are the same. The way that they make it harder, I believe the song is slightly faster, but they add in a lot more of the fast 1-2s, which can be tricky to adapt to.
1, 2. And 1, 2. 1, 2. Go, go, go. And 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And 1, 2. 1, 2. Go, go, go. And jab. 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 1, 2. And jab. 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 Go, go, go. And 1, 2.
Okay. I love the part midway through where the crowd starts getting in on it. I think that part really hypes up the game a lot. And also that's another case where if you miss that last punching bag, that last fast 1-2 cue, even if you were perfect until then, you don't get a superb. So luckily I managed to get that. And now we have Micro Row 2 where they've added the double cue.
Yeah, so once again, like with Figure Fighter 2, the rhythm is pretty similar. It's not just every offbeat you make a catch, and then the next one you swat away a spider. That spider comes on an offbeat, which is actually... Oh, I'm sorry, not Packing Pest 2 yet, we're on Micro Row. I totally forgot this one existed. Yeah, they did add a new one in here, you're right. So as well as your every offbeat in this one, they have a new whistle, which I've always compared this game to Munchie Monk from Rhythm Heaven DS. It's kind of like every offbeat you're pressing, it's like, and one go, whereas the double whistle is like the announcer in that game saying to 2, go, go. I guess other than having something new, this game really doesn't have any business being in the final set of games. But they wanted to save all the new cues for the final set.
Yeah. Again, they look incredibly derpy, and they also do a really cool little U-turn midway through.
Yeah, the shape they make is fun. Again, I enjoy a lot of the details they do in the visuals. And now I get to talk about Packing Pests 2. So yeah, the swatting away the spiders is on the same beat that the double up cue like always was, except there's no second spider, which is kind of interesting to me because they changed up the rhythm. And then they also added a delayed rhythm, which they let you practice for. There will be some parts of the stage where the stage, you know, it's kind of a stage. Some parts of this game where there's like a ring and a double exclamation mark visual pop up. And that's when you have to delay by the full count. Canonically, we're working overtime right now, and I like that the song speeds up. Well, it's sort of meant to, as it's supposed to be a harder version, but, you know, if I'm working overtime, I also kind of want to be going faster. I do enjoy that look over at the sign that calls it spider-free candy. I wonder why they have to advertise it that way.
Well, who knows? Maybe in the Rhythm Heaven universe, they are not very good at keeping the spiders out of their candy.
Someone's gotta fix the spider problem. And yes, you're right, that is Munchie Monk. Even though Micro Row is the same rhythms from Munchie Monk, that is
Here's
his
the
face
last
right
sequel
there.
game before the final remix. We're already almost at the end.
Yeah, 2 fairly long games to go here, with Remix 10 of course being the longest by a long shot. Now Karate Man 2 does ever so slightly slow down the tempo from the first game. So it's kind of an artificial way to extend this song. I like the remix okay, although I do think I prefer the original one. And the one thing that they do add without giving you practice for it is they just say hit 4 in a row. But really, that's, why would you need practice for that? Because it's, you know how to hit 3, it's just one more at the end. There are some other sneaky instances to make this harder where they make you wait for the combo. They give you the combo visual cue, but they don't throw anything at you for a little longer. That's one of the things where if you don't know the song, you would need some visuals to help you hear it. So, Karate Joe's come a long way. From being the first game in, the first game in the first game of the series. Is that exclamation cue actually exclusive to this one? I thought that was featured in the first one, but I could be wrong.
Alright, I would say this version of Karate Man 2 is better than the DS Karate Man 2. And now, it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. And you may have noticed that unlike my usual marathon runs for this channel, I'm actually using a webcam. And the reason why is because for the final game, we are going to spice things up a little bit.
It's time to mix things up, as Rhythm Heaven likes to say.
Alright, so I'm probably going to want it to be a little bit quiet.
Of course, yes, let's all enjoy the final remix here.
Mm-hmm.
Every song in sort of a random order if you've never heard it before.
Boat Show.
All about you.
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 1, 2, 3, go! Ready and tap tap tap. Ready and tap tap tap. 3, go!
Single roll. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, nice.
Let's go now! That's true. Whoa, big guy. Soon we will see we're living the dreams of our generation.
Double up. Double up. Double up. Double up.
So it's totally over, right? Never mind.
Double up.
Alright, I think that's good, but I'm not sure.
Let's go.
Yep, we're good. And time. And if it weren't for the two misses, for the two non-superbs, that would have actually tied my PB to the second. So yeah, I didn't get all the medals, but honestly, I was close enough on those other two games. So, there you go. That's all 50 games in Rhythm Heaven Fever, and we can just kind of say to heck with it for those two games. But we're not done yet, because there is in fact an incentive that needs to be done first. So, at this point, I'm now going to switch to doing some bonus showcasing. Yeah, Remix 10 is always iconic for the double fake out. Alright, so I'm gonna switch to this file because I don't actually know if you need all the medals for the extra games or not. I don't remember how many. So all 4 of these games are from Rhythm 10 Goku, but they were sort of uplifted and remastered for Rhythm Heaven Fever. So here's the Clappy Trio.
I do want to shout out while we're doing the Tengoku games. There is a recently uploaded task of Rhythm Tengoku for GBA using the minimum required inputs to beat the game. And so on top of like also some obvious misses, they were able to play around and get a lot of, just barely things to count and mess around with all kinds of timing. But one of the things about that game is that there weren't always very good cues for what would be happening. So this one, if you were to do it without visuals, would kind of be a memorization game.
Okay, so yeah, that game is pretty simple. I think that's just game number 5 in Rhythm 10 Goku, so it's obviously pretty early on. So not a whole lot to it. And it does give you ratings for it, but you don't get anything for getting a superb rating, and you can't go for perfects on them either. So it's just supposed to be kind of like fun bonus I guess it's supposed to be bonus content for the Japanese fans, because the English people obviously wouldn't really have experience with these, but who knows. So here's a game about ghosts. And I guess you can just shoot them with a harpoon.
Sneaky Spirits is another... Yeah. Sneaky Spirits is another game where tempo is key. Each ghost is a different tempo, and I don't know, do you want me to be a little quieter on this one?
Yes,
because
please.
there are plenty of parts where the music cuts out. Okay.
Yeah, you really have to be good at counting beats in your head for some of those ghosts. And I'm pretty sure the superb rating on this one is actually really strict, so you definitely want to be careful with that.
The routing on that one would be interesting if it were actually a game you had to pass in the run, because it does take a significant amount of time to shoot a ghost. Like, it goes into such slow-mo. Whereas if you don't shoot them and you let them just escape, the song keeps going.
That's actually a fair point. So now we're writing Japanese characters.
Our calligraphy is one that I actually don't really know how to explain, but there are a lot of different cues, and it's just fairly specific timing. And like, imagine doing this without practice when it was first introduced. I wouldn't have any clue what was going on at all.
I mean, when I first played this, I skipped the practice. But that's because I knew what the game was like ahead of time.
Did this one make it into Megamix?
Yes. All four of them did. And now it speeds up and we've got random people dancing on the sides.
Yeah, this is a pretty faithful recreation of the original version of Power Calligraphy, with nice, cleaner sprites of everything.
And higher quality music.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not a bad song at all.
Mm-hmm. It is a little repetitive, though.
Certainly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the Tengoku songs, sadly, are.
Yeah. A lot of the Tengoku games are on average shorter than in some of the other Rhythm Heaven games. So yeah, that was honestly...
snowing on Mount. I like that.
Alright, and here is another fan favorite from Rhythm Tengoku. A lot of people really like this game. And I can see why.
Our monkey friends are back, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Does this one have the giraffe?
Yes.
Yeah, it does. Okay. Sorry, it was a little bit behind, but I'm caught up now.
Pretty sure in the lore that, like, the other characters are actually annoyed with the giraffe and they don't really like it all that much. So yeah, those are those four games.
I mean, the giraffe isn't even doing anything.
Yeah, he just comments on your performance. But it is a pretty nice little game, and it's nice to see it included here. And to round things off, it's time for Night Walk. So you briefly saw this in Remix 10. But in speedruns, you would normally skip over this game because it plays during the credits. In fact, you can't even really play this game during the credits. You have to first watch them in order to unlock it.
Yeah, so that makes it kind of interesting. You could get all the way to Remix 10 without even knowing how to play this game, but it is fairly self-explanatory. It's another Keep the Beat game. Nightwalk also was a Tengoku game.
But this is a new version.
A new version now with the added A and B pinch to roll and then jump. Yeah, we heard this song a lot faster in the remix section it popped up in. It's called Dreams of Our Generation.
Another really good song.
This will be the last game that we'll play for you today, unless there's any surprises I haven't been told about, so I've had a fun time.
Dang it, I missed one.
Uh-oh.
It's okay. It's not your fault. It's my fault.
Yeah, I've had a fun time being here as you show off this game. Unfortunately, I don't have my Wii U that this game's installed on, so I haven't been able to play it for a while, but...
So yeah, there you go. Also, it is possible to fall off on that game, and if that happens, then the game just ends prematurely, and it just says you fell in a hole, which is kind of funny. But yeah, that's Rhythm Heaven Fever. Thanks for letting me show this game off. I actually just recently got into the Rhythm Heaven franchise, like less than a year ago, thanks in large part to John, because they have really great piano covers of Remix 8 and Remix 9 from the DS game on their channel, and that's what sort of introduced me to the series, and I've just been kind of hooked ever since. I've played 3 out of 4 of the games, and I make a lot of custom remixes. So, yeah, so there you go. That's, hopefully that was a really good showcase. Sucks that we didn't get all of the medals, but you know what, I was close enough, whatever. And with that, thanks for watching, and again, thanks for having us.
Thanks for inviting me.
No problem.